Hey, how's it guys, and welcome to my channel. I just want to extend my utmost gratitude to you guys for the views, comments, likes. I really appreciate it. But guys, I have one request. Please, can you watch the entire of this video, please? In the comments from the flat earthers, I realized quite a few things, but two of them, one of which is that flat earthers don't understand the scientific method. And the second thing is that no matter what evidence we present, they aren't going to accept it if they don't want to. One of the stopping criteria that they mentioned to me is that I cannot use the sky to prove the ground. So the flat earthers are very adamant about the scientific method, in inverted commas. So from high school science, I know that we must make an observation, ask a question, conduct the experiment, and write down our conclusions. That's high school, but I suspect that scientists apply a stricter standard when conducting their investigations. At first, I was just gonna gibber right through it, just give my interpretation of what I'm seeing. But I decided to actually go and find what is that stricter standard that scientists go by. And we are gonna discuss it in this video. Also, for this video, I'm going to present my evidence. Now, when I talk about the sun, it's going to be probably 3 or 4 or 5 different aspects of the sun. I know that the sun is one object in the sky, but there are so many ways to view it and see it and understand it. That it is a star, that we are orbiting around it. There are so many things that we can deduce just by observing the sun. So after a lot of confusion of how I'm going to present this video, because it is a revenge video, and I do want the flat earthers to understand what I am saying and why I am saying it. So we're going to go through the scientific method one by one. I'm going to just say the question and then give my answer in my experiment terms. Step number 1 in the scientific method: make an observation. My observation is that I watch the sun setting every single night, and I know that the sun rises in the opposite horizon every single morning. That is my observation. Step number 2, ask a question. My question would be, why would the sun go down below the horizon if flat earthers say that the sun does not set? Step number 3, form a feasible explanation. So as a layman, this one just stumps me a little bit, because must I formulate my own explanation or idea of why the sun is setting? Or can I use already worked out by other people kind of information? I actually don't know. Actually, there are a couple of steps that might be missing in between, because as I've said, I've been observing sunsets for more than a year and a half now, and I have to include all of that information in my formulation of my explanation, because I have gathered data along the way. I'm not just jumping into the deep end, and I don't have to just guess blindside. So from the information I've gathered over the more than 365 days, I see the position of sunset changing from day to day. When I started observing it, as you've seen photographs in the beginning of this video, I put one out from November 2018. and you can see where the sun was, and in December you can see that the sun is setting towards the left of where it set in November. So I've made these observations, and from these observations I can try and deduce two things. One, that the earth is turning on itself, and the other is that the earth is going around the sun. Also, guys, please be aware that I am not bringing the shape of the earth into this discussion. All we are talking about is why the sun sets and rises and sets and rises. Step number 4, make a prediction. I was actually very happy to find out that this is one of the steps. Although I didn't know it, I felt like I had to make that prediction on the 23rd of January 2019 when I saw the sun just there by the big tree. And I made the prediction that the sun would set on the winter solstice just to the right of that church. I waited patiently, and on winter solstice I showed that that's where the sun sets. Step number 5, test the prediction. I was also happy to find out that this is also a step in the scientific method, because once I filmed the sun setting to the right of the church on winter solstice, I made the prediction that the sun would once again in December set to the left of the big tree, and that's what happened, and I've shown it. And I will carry on making the repeatable prediction of where the sun is going to set in June 2020, December 2020, June 2021. It can just go on like that for as long as I stay here. In addition to that, I would just like to mention that the sun does change where it sets every single day by about 1 degree. That's because the revolution of Earth itself propels the Earth in its orbit around the sun. That's why the sun changes position every single day, because the Earth is traveling in an orbit. Step 6. Iterate the results to make new hypotheses or predictions. This step I am still in the middle of. This will be an ongoing experiment also, since I've discovered that Venus is retrograding back towards the right. From my perspective, it was where it is now. It was sometime last year around September, and it is back in that position, and I predict that it will only be visible to me for another couple of weeks, and then it will become the morning star in the next couple of months. That is my next predictions. Actually, you know what, guys? The scientific method is absolutely exhausting. And I really want to honestly thank flat earthers, because without their prompting, hey, I wouldn't have learned all these things. And I am so happy that I am able to learn and grasp and understand these concepts. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a long one. I hope you made it to the end. Thank you so much. Bye.